Hello and welcome to this webinar. My name is Lander Arrupe and I will be showing you the new features we introduced in the new version of Copra Fea 2020.2. So as you can see, this is not yet the Copra Fea Rf 21 version. That one will come next year, but we already have some features we wanted to present you that we hoped will make your life easier. You can see in the release notes that, well, I will show you these release notes and the demonstration of it simultaneously. So you can see that one of the biggest new features is the simulation queue. This way we'll be able to create a list of simulations we want to start without having to be in front of the computer. So at weekends and so on, if simulation stops, we can make maximum time of it, just including and the next simulation we would like to continue working on. Of course, the general usability was improved, and also the performance, the general performance was enhanced. So here you have gotten already, you have got these features. So let's do it by an example. So our favorite project, channel, I'm gonna create a new model, and while doing that I want to show you the new features. Let's do this. 16. So I'm going to create a new project. Copra Fea. And here you see that the material name and comments, if you wish, and the information it's already introduced. I'm gonna get here station final and reference 6, station 6. Symmetrically, I'm gonna use the holes meshing. I'm gonna use cutting, support. I have a look. Yes, only one bend here. And I click at Run Project. So this is the common message we get when we have auto mesh of holes. One of the new thing is that also the hole meshing capabilities has been improved. That means the punch holes, we can have punch holes in ending of the bending zones. Yes, so that means up to now the meshing of the holes only work if we had a hole that went through the mesh, the bending area, or it did not end in the hole in the bending area itself, or change direction in the bending area. So that limitation, it's not anymore there. So now Copra Fea will open. The new environment of Mentat is the Mentat 2020 version. Yes. And while it's creating the model, takes a second, we will see right away the meshing enhancement. That means the chamfer enhancement. That means that now right and left chamfers we can individually define. And also, which is one of the good features we introduced, is that automatically we can refine the thickness in the thickness direction automatically from 1 to 2 or 3 elements. So that's done also automatically. So let's have a good in edit area. We see here sides left, right. So because it's symmetrically, automatically knows I have to create only the left side, the right side chamfer. So it does 525, for example. I click on go, and the chamfer will be created. As we can see, that now it doesn't make sense, but to make a chamfer on the left side, but the program will do it if I tell it to. So let's go to modify. Automatically rows are hidden, and we see that we reworked a little bit the menus. Here we can hide these menus, also these areas, if we check the box and check the box. Yes. So that means now what I wanted to show you is this, in the divisions area, the possibility to automatically go from one element to 2 elements in the thickness. This T means top transition, bottom transition, or 3 elements. So let's do a top front view. And I do transition on the top. I click at elements. I select the elements, not just the bending, but also, of course, the neighbor elements where I want the transition. Now I confirm with right mouse click. I'm gonna make this. And now you see, these 3 elements were not selected, so I'm gonna select again. My mouse is not really working. So elements like this, I check, okay, now they are selected. I say confirm and go. And when I click at go, I have to click, otherwise it will not do it. Okay, it's working now. It takes not long, couple of seconds. You see, it's working, and now it's finished. If I don't like, of course, if I did a mistake, I can always click at undo. Yes. So now we will have transition, and the transition, because I selected T, at the bottom it's 1, on the top is 2 elements. Yes. So I update the model. I cannot overwrite because it's the first model. I don't know why my click is not working right. Now it's S16 underscore something underscore U00. Okay, finished. Good. So I showed you that. Let's go to the run area then, because here we have what's new completely is we don't have the steps 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the CPU number, the parallel. Then we can add the selection if we want auto report, for example, or notification email, which is useful. And here, before starting the simulation, we can create the queue. So even if you are not thinking about creating a queue, or you are not sure if you're gonna have a second simulation, it's better to create, to start the simulation in the queue, because later on then you will have the possibility to add new simulations. But if I start the simulation right away, I cannot create a list that continues this simulation. So what I'm gonna do is add. That means we'll create the list, or prepare. Prepare means to an already to a list that it's already in the queue, I can add it later on, this prepared. Yes. So if I click at add, you will see that this queue window, because I did a double click, that's why I got this, it's in the list, and now I click at start. It's minimized, it's here in the queue, and the CPC, the common CPC, the process control window opens. Yes, so I have the CPC now, and I have here the queue list. It's running. Here we have we reworked also a little bit this area, so now you have more information regarding how much time it needs for calculating each increment, for example, and we have here usage of CPU and process itself. So this is also new. While it's working, I could prepare a new simulation model 16R, for example. Loading Copra. Load settings, for example. This one. Yes, so now I have the end station, now it's 15. It's not 6 like I did before, and the reference, the mesh, is 15. So that means you see the two bends in the Copra Fea mesh. The other material is the same. Process, okay. So, of course, this meant that in your cases, most of the times it has to be closed. You have only one mentat interface possible open. This CPC and queue still are open. And run project. Continue, yes. And again, a new model will be created. We'll do the restart steps and we'll do an advanced restart. So let's go back to the PDF. This we saw. One word to the advanced restart possibilities, because now the advanced remesh, it's possible also for frictional driven roll simulation. So that means simulation with friction, shaft deflection, and the combination of both. So we can do advanced restarts for all kind of simulations now. So symmetrical also with welding additions, and they imported from Copra Fea. So we added these possibilities, and the advanced restart works now, I think, much better. It's much faster to create the restarts. So this was 14, I think I have the same. So define new mesh. Oops, I double click. Now it's gonna crash, yeah? Because I double click. This mouse is a nightmare. Okay, no problem. This is really something that happens to me all the time. So open model. So again, this is just to practice. So we'll take it easy. 14. Okay, now with the nose open, so I'm gonna use new station, which will give me the increment, but I wanna go ahead a little bit. I don't wanna include the previous results because nothing. So we see it's much faster. Of course, this is simulation with not so many elements, but I've done with 20, even a simulation with 50,000 elements, and it's really a matter of minutes with such big elements. This is a matter of seconds. In really big models with a lot of elements, it will take a couple of minutes, but it's not 15 minutes or something, yeah? So this has been really improved. But it's taking a little bit longer now. The more stations you have, it takes a little bit longer, but the mesh itself, will be read and reworked really fast. So once it's done, we'll go to modify, because we're gonna load the mesh from Copra to FEA, the one which had the second bend also. So you see that simulation, the other one is running in the background. So we go to modify, and I click at use mesh from Copra to FEA. I load the mesh from Copra to FEA because I had two bends. Yes, you see now its second bend is here, and in the previous one I had more elements in the thickness. I'm gonna add that again to the area where I had more elements, because otherwise I will lose that in my restart. Okay, so the same thing as before. To T in the top elements, I select the bending area. Okay. So I click at right mouse click or end of list here. So now, and I click at go. The chamfer also. The chamfer, no element selected. Okay, yes. So you see that it's done. And the chamfer I'm gonna add also. Otherwise maybe I'll have problems. Just know that the outside area must be the same as previously. I cannot change, of course, the strip width, or I cannot do any crazy stuff, right? So I have to be consistent. So I have the chamfer, two bends, and now I click at deformed, and you will see that the deformed state of the strip also will be loaded really fast, even with a lot of elements. So it's done, yes? And now that I'm here, I'm gonna show you this marker area also. This marker area is possibility, so we can mark nodes in this state, for example. And this way, when we are in the flat situation where we can do where to do the remeshing, because we know that the deformed state we cannot do remeshing, we'll see where these nodes were. Of course, in this simple mesh, it's not a problem, but where we have a lot of bends and so on, in the flat area, it's always difficult to see again where these were. So to do the changes with the markers, this is really useful function. So I'm not gonna do anything with that. I click again deformed, and of course, before I go to run it, I have to update it. Okay. And before I start the simulation, what I'm gonna do, check where the cutting is. I'm gonna change the element set here because I don't see, this is the way we can see where the cutting is, the element that, okay, it's not bad. Otherwise, in edit, I still can change my free cut position, but so everything okay. I go to run, and here, okay, I want the notification at the finish, and I add it to the list. That means now the 16R, S16R, will start when the previous one is finished. Well, we have some possibilities to change the number, of course, also with the edit possibility or the options. So what I'm gonna do is kill manually this simulation, and let's see if the next one will start. So I'm gonna kill this one. So the CPC will, I'll get an email, will be sent. So it stopped, and we will see that when it's finished. Okay, you see now here it's red, and my second one, in the list, now it's running. The CPC of this one, it's here minimized, it's create opened, and it continues automatically. I didn't have to do anything. So I can have as many as I want. I can up and down, move up and down in the list once it's done. And then, well, I can close when it's done. When I want to create a new list, I remove everything, I clear everything, and everything is okay. Yeah? Good. So this is how the queue works. It's very simple and very useful to make use of the computer all the time. So you need a really good coolings now in your computers. Perfect. Remember, if I have generate auto report also, I have to close my Mentat interface. Yes. So we are done with that also. Let's continue to see the last thing, I guess. It's the prediction of wear. We introduce new possibilities to study the wear, surface damage, all these kind of things. And so we have now values of total wear, relative sliding when simulations with friction. Even with no friction, we have contact exposure. What does that mean? So if I open the results file, yes, I have one increment. We will see, or maybe I open. So this is previous 65, 70 was something new. Well, but here now you see that in the scalar area we have contact exposure. What does contact exposure mean? Well, we reworked a little bit also the position of the different areas. Yes. So contact exposure, always remember with the wheel, with the right mouse click, you can have the information, extra information. Yes. So shows the highest contact normal stress at node that was exposed to. Yes. You clearly here see this is the new mesh, and this was the old mesh. Yeah. Yield stress was something we saw in the previous version, so this is nothing new. But if I open also a simulation with friction result, for example, this one, I think, we'll have a look at the new possibilities. Of course, the simulation itself will not tell you if you will get surface damage, but you will need some reference values. In the driven area, you see now this area is new. Total wear, you have the explanation, what does this means. Sliding vectors, sliding velocity. Yes, shows the relatively sliding velocity between the sheet and the tools in the contact points as a vector. Good. So that is clear, I think. The additional developments you see, well, Mark 20, you already told you. The easier handling of deformed original mesh when preparing advanced restarts. I think that was placing markers. I already showed you. The mesh modifications can now be reversed using the undo function. So the undo really works now, not just back and forward, but it goes back as long as you click on it. And maybe important to also say the mesh modifications can be done in every direction. So now we don't have any limit. As you see in this, as you saw in the example I created, we had holes and we did thinning elements, refining in the thickness direction. Good. So all the new improvements of the FEA with this version. Of course, we've come to the end now. Any comments you have, let us know, please. Which direction we have to improve, what kind of problems you're having. Let us know all the information you give us. We'll try to use to make a better software, right? I mean, for example, this thing like the local refinement thickness direction, this was a user comments, user wished things. We got feedback from you, and these are the things we need, yes, to go and create this kind of functionalities. Because as you saw, when we have holes, to do this manually, this is crazy. Yeah, of course, when we have no holes, it's not really difficult. But you see that important that even here the topograph to make errors, it's more difficult with this function. Good. As I said, thank you for being there, and I hope you send us comments, any kind, good, bad. Yes, we'll have a look at them. Otherwise, Christmas is coming soon, so have a nice Christmas in these circumstances, as you know. Yeah. And we'll be in touch up to next webinar. I guess in January we'll be having a webinar about the Copra Rf new version, and the second or second trimester we'll get also a new FEA version. So I recommend the update really, because this is a really good version. Okay. So this was all. I'm gonna close now the webinar. Have a nice evening, and any questions, like I said, yeah, let us know. Yeah. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.